So it's that limbo weekend where we're just waiting for the Six Nations to start. Teams come out next week, and then of course on Friday it's France versus Ireland. That's going to be amazing. Then on the Saturday, Italy versus England and Wales versus Scotland. So in this video I'm going to bite the bullet and predict how that first round might go, because, well, it's fun, and then we can see how wrong I am, and you can all type in the comments, "That aged well." That's always the most fun comment to have. But anyway, life's too short, so let's go for it, and why not you go for it as well. Put your predictions down below for round one. But before we do that, some other pieces of news I've been wanting to talk about before the Six Nations starts. And one of the big pieces of news for rugby and for women's rugby is there's going to be the first ever British and Irish Lions Tour, women's tour, and it's going to New Zealand in 2027, so not long at all. They've assessed the feasibility of the tour, and they say it's on minimum 5 matches, 3 test matches included there across the country. Host cities and venues are going to be confirmed soon, so that's going to be really, really exciting to see. New Zealand have recently hosted the Women's World Cup in 2022, the first WXV1 competition as well, and now the Lions, so great news there. Now in the men's game, of course, the Lions also tour South Africa and Australia and rotate like that. I don't think that is feasible in the women's game. At the moment, you've kind of got 3 big teams in my eyes. You've got New Zealand, you've got England, and you've got France. Canada are close behind on the world ranking, but I don't think they're quite at the level of those guys. And Australia and South Africa, their women's teams are quite a long way off at the moment, so maybe in the future. But for now, New Zealand, absolutely. And I think what I'd do is I'd maybe encourage them to start a new tradition and tour France as well. I don't think there's any reason why not. It's just in the men's game, the big dogs were those 3 in the Southern Hemisphere. Who are the big guys in the women's game? Well, it's New Zealand, England and France. So why not have the British and Irish Lions tour France as well, and then rotate between France and New Zealand? So let me know what you think of that idea. Of course, at the moment, the team you'd say would be dominated by England players, but I'm sure they're going to want representation from all of the 4 countries. So that would be an interesting one to juggle, but still I think it's a good starting point. A tour to New Zealand in 2027 is something to look forward to. Comments below on that. In other news, there's no getting rid of Eddie Jones. England will come face to face with Eddie Jones's Japan now, twice in 2024, including an historic first official test match in Japan in June, and recently confirmed they're going to face them at the end of you can only say it's a stellar autumn list, where they're going to be playing New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, then Japan in consecutive weeks. That's going to really test Borthwick's England. We're going to know what they're made of by the end of that for sure. They're going to have to use a lot of players because they're going back to back in all of those games. A big question will be, can Eddie Jones get Japan up a level? Can he take them beyond where Jamie Joseph had got them? I thought Jamie Joseph had done a really good job, and they were playing kind of about at the level that their quality of player merited, which is pretty good, to be honest. Can Eddie Jones push them further? We will see. He's certainly going to work them hard, that is for sure. And of course, this year we're going to see Scott Robertson's All Blacks for the very first time. And we're going to see a new Australia coach. Now, Eddie Jones has, of course, left. Joe Smith has been appointed by Rugby Australia for 2 years, not till the next World Cup. It looks like he's going through to the tour, the British and Irish Lions tour, and then they're going to assess how well he's done. Maybe once bitten, twice shy for Rugby Australia, so no 4-year deal there, but hopefully they'll extend it if it goes okay, I'm sure. So finally on to those tricky predictions for round 1 of the Six Nations. A note here that the free Guinness from the Match Pint Predictor game is gone. There looks to be no longer that game at all. I think maybe they were giving away too much free Guinness. It doesn't surprise me, but sad times. But what we do have is the Fantasy Six Nations League. My Fantasy Six Nations League, there's a link below, or you just search Rugby Analyst, all one word. Please join the league. Loads of you have already. That'll be great fun. Pick your team, obviously get loads of starters in there as the teams come out next week. First on to France versus Ireland. It's a massive game, whether you think it's the decider or not, whether that's disrespectful or not, I don't know, but these are the 2 best sides in the Six Nations at the moment, and whoever wins this game is going to be the favourite to take the whole thing. Whether that happens or not, we will see. Some similarities between the teams. 2 new captains, Peter O'Mahony, Gregory Aldreet, both experienced back rowers but new captains nonetheless. For Ireland, they're missing a few players but generally very settled. Of course, they're going to have to find their replacement for Johnny Sexton. Crowley seems to be the favourite. Can he slip into the green machine seamlessly? On the wing, they're going to have to find a replacement for Mac Hansen, who had been an absolute staple of the team for a long time. Is it going to be youngster Calvin Nash or Jordan Lama? So that's going to be an interesting one. But apart from that, it's pretty much everyone available, all the big guns, very settled, very experienced. They're going to be pretty slick, you would think. Both teams, though, are hurting from the World Cup. Who is hurting more is, a point of discussion, but both disappointed from how it went in the World Cup. For France, could be trouble at half-back maybe. Dupont has gone, of course, to the Sevens team for now, their best player. Intermac still rehabbing. There are worries over Mathieu Jalabert. They'll want him fit, but at half-back, they could have Nolan Le Garrec at 9. He is a new superstar, I think, in the making, so he could have a big tournament. Fly half-wise, maybe the saviour will be regular fullback Thomas Ramos, who plays fly half for Toulouse sometimes. He's a brilliant fly half, and actually I think he might surprise people how good he is. So in many ways, these teams are very, very close, and in this respect, I'm going to go on home advantage. Just a close victory for the French, I think. The crowd just urging them on, maybe even Thomas Ramos kicking those winning points. So prediction-wise, I'm going France just by 3 points. What would yours be? On to the Saturday games, and Italy versus England. Italy probably have the advantage of having the more settled team. They started off with a very young team and they're getting more experience and better, so they should be better than they were last year, although they were very disappointing performance-wise in the World Cup. But Benetton, they lie second in the URC, plenty of good players. I mean, in the pack, the Canone brothers are really good. Lamaro's an excellent back rower captain. Paolo Garbisi seems like he's been around for a while, a fly half, but he's still only 23, and plenty of firepower in the backs can score those tries. Brex in the centres, or Ioane and Capuozzo in the back three, so no doubt they believe they can win, even though they never have before. They are at home. For England, like I said, having never lost to Italy before will maybe help the psychology. There's always a first, of course, but England do have a few detracting factors. A fairly new coaching team. Felix Jones has just come in, who is an excellent coach, but certainly a new look defence to be tested there, so let's see how that goes. And quite a big list of unavailable or injured players, be it they are withdrawn themselves or they're injured. So Courtney Laws, of course, will be a big miss. Tom Curry in the pack. Farrell, we know, a fly half, has been a regular. Ollie Lawrence, they maybe needed his power in the centres, and it looks like he's out for at least that first game. So it could be a very new look back line, very inexperienced. That being said, I still think England will have a bit too much for Italy. Maybe some of their lesser cap players will step up. I think that will be the case. So I'm saying England by about 7 points. And last but by no means least, Wales versus Scotland. This atmosphere is going to be rocking. Scotland, the visitors, they're without Darcy Graham on the wing. Gilchrist is banned. Jamie Ritchie, touch and go. A few of their players touch and go to be starting. Hopefully Darge will be fit because he is a co-captain with Finn Russell. Always sounds a bit weird, that co-captain thing, but I'm sure Russell's going to be barking them around the pitch, kind of as the captain, I guess. You can pretty much name the Scottish team, though. They're very settled, very experienced as a group together now for sure. It's a tough place to go away, but no, they are a very good team that should slot into their game plan very quickly. For Wales, very different, very young, led by their young captain Dafford Jenkins, who I absolutely love. Are they going to be good enough to beat Scotland? I don't know, but they're going to be full of emotion and passion, and I'm saying that as an absolute positive. They're being ravaged by injuries and players unavailable. They'll probably have inexperienced props playing. The back row unit will not have Jack Morgan or Faletau, who probably would have been starters. Dan Bigger, we know, has gone at 10. Liam Williams, Halfpenny, gone in the backs, and their speedman Lewis Rees-Zammit. So it's pretty much devastated as that settled team, but they're starting again. There's some exciting players there, but it would be a massive ask for them to upset the experienced and settled Scotland. So I think Finn Russell-led Scotland at the peak of their game should win this one. I'm saying by about 5 points. So anyway, I've put my cards on the table. Let's see how right or wrong I am. Pop your predictions down below. Let me know about all that news I've talked about. Join the Fantasy League if you haven't already. Subscribe, like the video, come along for the ride in the Six Nations. It should be great fun, and I'll catch you next time.